Welcome everybody, it is tier list time. Today we're going to be doing a tier list for patch 4.11. This is the patch with Kukulcan and some changes to some aura items. Also Shifter's shield got changed. Dodgy got some changes as well. Also in this patch was the new Chivalry event, Code of Chivalry I think it's called. So a lot of cool stuff in this patch, a lot of changes. So I'm going to go through all of the characters to see where we're at. I think the last tier list I did was about a month ago, so I figured I'd do some updating because there definitely are some changes. So before I start, I do want to say this is opinions, so I do try to take as much info as I can from other players, from watching SPL games, seeing how characters are doing, just in general. Also, I play some ranked, casuals, a lot of stuff mixed in. This will be mainly based off of pro play. It will also include ranked as well, but it's mainly pro play, so keep that in mind. If you don't know the tiers, S plus means that they're pretty broken, they need to be changed, they can carry a game. S plus means they're top pick, top ban, they can carry a game, or they're just a really important role player. S tier means very strong, these are the top picks, top bans, maybe not first pick, but they are the top picks. A plus means above the point of balance, so these are really good gods. Sometimes it can be called pocket picks or just, second picks after maybe an S tier god. A tier is your general point of balance, this character is good, can be played, isn't the best, but is still pretty good. B plus means they're below the point of balance, which also entails that they're on the weaker side. They could be played in the pro league, but it's usually a specialty pick, and you kind of have to worry about your comp a little bit. B tier means you have to build a comp around this character. They're very weak. They either have, a very huge flaw, or they're just not in the meta. That is another thing that could be part of B tier. And then C tier means that even if you build an entire comp around them, they probably will not do very well, will not get picked very often, and is a very weak character. D tier means they're broken, and they need like a rekit or something. So those are the tiers very quickly. I'm going to try to make this as short as I can. So we'll start with Agni. Agni is actually one of the better mages right now, surprisingly. His level 1 clear isn't very good, but once he gets to like level 3, his clear starts to get a lot stronger. He has a lot of good objective control with his ultimate. So I'm actually verging on A+ with Agni. I think he's pretty close. I'm going to put him in A+. Usually I put him in A tier, but as far as mages go, he's being played in the SPL actually a good amount. So I'm going to put him in A+ for now. I think the level 1 clear is still important, but you're getting to the point now in the meta where level 3 clear is really where like the magic happens, as I guess you could put it. If you have good level 3 clear, that means that you're open to do anything. If you don't have good level 3 clear, then you start to drop off. Janice is actually a very good example of this. We'll talk about Janice when we get there. So I think he's A+. This is mainly because I'm seeing him being played a lot more. I'm losing Cab is not very good. I'm going to put him in B tier. One of the worst hunters. You do have to build an entire comp around him. His early clear is great, but he gets caught out a lot. All you need to do is gank him, and he's probably going to feed for most of the game. Not going to be picked in the Pro League at all. If it does get picked, it's like a troll pick, so he's really not that good. Apwash is also B tier for me. Apwash again gets caught out. His clear is okay at level. It's really not that good. From level 1 to like level 3 is okay, but he doesn't have the best clear in the world. His clear is also hard to confirm. His ultimate doesn't do too much. It's just like a zoning ability. And yeah, he's also not a conquest character in my opinion. So he's okay. Really not one of the worst mages in my opinion. On her, I think is fine. On her, I'll put an A tier. He definitely can be picked. His clear is actually just okay. It's not bad, but it's not great. If you pair him with a guardian that does have really good clear, then he will be fine. But he's more of a mid-game character, which honestly, team fights now are starting super early. So once you hit level 5, he's good. But before that, he really doesn't do much, and so those early fights won't really help you that much with him. Amaterasu, I'll put in the A+ tier. She can be flexed in the support role, but I don't see her very often. It's kind of a tricky role for her, but in the solo lane, she does okay. Her clear is not good, but in the late game, she does very well. So you kind of have to be careful with her early game. She can be a little tricky to play, but in the late game, she does do very well. Has a lot of control with the ultimate, and the ultimate is very hard to counter as well. Anubis, I'm going to put in the B tier. He has great clear, very good level 1 clear, and level 3 as well, but he's very risky and just gets caught out, and he always has the same problem, so he's not going to move up for me. Ao Kwong is actually also pretty bad. I'll put him in B+. It's kind of strange to say that, but he has awful clear. Probably the worst clear of any jungler right now, and that's hurting him quite a bit. Now, once you hit level 5, you can ult someone and get a little fed, but honestly, that early clear hurts. If you're playing Ao Kwong in the mid and you are starting in the mid lane, there's no doubt that the other team is going to outclear you. They're going to invade your camps. They might kill you as well. So that early aggression hurts Ao Kwong a lot. Aphrodite is also not very good in my opinion. I think I'll put her in B+. She can be played in the mid lane. Don't play her solo because you really do need another, at least a warrior or some other tank besides the support. And Aphro does not provide that. She's a squishy mage. So her late game is very good, very strong. The healing is amazing late game. So if you allow an Aphro to get past the early game without punishing her, she can be great. But she really does struggle, and all you need to, again, you just need an aggressive jungler or an aggressive mid lane, and she's just not going to do very well. Apollo, for me, is going to be A tier. Really not in the meta right now. He has trouble with his clear as well. He does have the ultimate, which gives him good mobility, but overall just doesn't do anything amazing. Like, he's good, you can pick him if you want, but he's not in the meta at all. And again, the early clear is part of that, so there are just way better picks out there in my opinion. But he's fine. You can pick him if you really like Apollo. You can pick him. Arachne, in my opinion, is actually one of the worst characters in the game. I'll put her in B tier. I don't think she's quite C tier, but really, like, okay, so her early aggression is great, which in theory should make her awesome in this meta, but it doesn't translate into a fed mid game or a fed late game. Arachne has so much trouble getting to a place where she can be effective late game. Her team fighting is horrible. Her ult is an okay escape. It's not great. But she has no team fight presence whatsoever. And in this meta, you do want to have team fighting presence because not only does team fighting start earlier in this meta, but it just continues on. You're constantly fighting. I mean, I've been playing so many games in mid where I don't have time to rotate because there's constantly pressure in mid. And then the team fight just kind of accumulate at the objectives and in the mid lane to a point where you're just like kind of stuck. So if you're Arachne and you're getting stuck, that's really not a good place to be. Ares, I think, is fine. You can absolutely play him. He's aggressive. His early clear is not very good, but again, the control is great. The ultimate is still very strong, and in team fights, he's great. He's great in team fights, very helpful to have, so that's his 1+, but you just have to be careful with him early game. Artemis is, again, going to be down here in the B tier for me. I think her early clear just hurts her so much once again. She is a hyper carry, so if you can get her late game, she's good, but she has no escape, and gods with no escapes in this meta are not doing very well. So, not a great pick. You know, could play her in casuals, but that's about it. Athena is actually kind of tricky for me. Athena's not in the meta at all. I'll put her A+, because I do think she's still very good. Her clear is really on the okay side at level, especially level 1. It's on the okay side. She has trouble clearing. She also has trouble fighting in lane, which is another big thing in this meta. If you're in the dual lane, you're going to be fighting like right away because of the way that the waves are meeting like before you go into camp. So she really does have trouble at level 1. Once you get the taunt and the dash, her full combo, she's pretty good. But again, it's not like she is the best character. I'm kind of downplaying her, but she is A+ in my opinion because I do think she's very strong. The taunt is great. The global ultimate is amazing. So she is good, just not top pick for supports. Awelix is fine. I'll put her in A tier. She has great control. She can like one-shot people with her combo if you have the right build. But again, the early clear is not amazing. She doesn't really have any early pressure, which a lot of junglers really want right now. So that can hurt her. The mobility is awesome though. So she can gank a lot, which actually does help her a little bit. But you know, is really just not here or there in this meta at the moment. But I've been playing more of her in the jungle actually, and I do like her playstyle a lot, just not perfect in this meta. Bacchus for me is going to be another A tier character. I think he's fine. He has a lot of trouble early game with mana. He uses so much mana early game because he just spams that one ability. Not only that, his belly flop uses a bunch of mana. The 3 doesn't do much damage. That's kind of his early wave clear, but it doesn't do any damage until you start maxing it. So he's great. He's another really good team fighting guardian. Has a lot of good burst damage, but struggles early games. So he's fine. You can play him, but he's again not a top pick for me. Bacchus Era is another B tier character in my opinion. Actually no, he's C. I don't know what I'm talking about. He's bad. Bacchus Era is well, first off, he has no level 1 clear, like absolutely zero level 1 clear. You cannot pressure with him. Let's say you're playing against like an Isis Thor mid lane combo. You literally just have to stand back and watch as they walk into your jungle and steal your yellow. That's like what you have to do with him. So he struggles, and he's one of those characters that when he is good, which is very rare, it's when he's allowed to get that super early pressure and can just run around, steal everybody's camps and stuff. And he can't do that in this meta. And he's also he's auto attack based, but he has no way to stick on people, which is another issue that like Dodgy has as well. He can't stay with people. He can't keep up with them. He has the movement speed with his passive. He has the true damage with his Butcher Blades, but it doesn't matter. He can have the ult to help him, but it doesn't really matter too much. You know, having a big ult doesn't mean that you're going to be good. And so I think he's bad. Doesn't need a re-kit, but maybe just some kind of buff to an item that might help him. Maybe if they change Fatalis so that it only works on junglers, that would be awesome. Or melee characters, that'd be great. But yeah, Bach is not. He's probably the worst character. Him and Arachne are at the bottom, along with like Anubis. So Bastet, I think is okay. I wouldn't pick her in this meta really. There was a nerf, of course, to the backdoor protections. That was a long time ago, but that still kind of stayed with her. She did get a buff to her passive, which helped. Other than that, there hasn't been many changes that have affected her. She's fine. She has zero objective control. Really, she doesn't have any good objective control. She has pretty good burst with her leap, but overall, she's not great. Bellona is awesome. I'm gonna put Bellona in the S tier. Top 2 soul laners right now. I will reveal my second choice for the best soul laner after. Of course, the death toll with the cleave attacks is huge. The bludgeon does a bunch of damage early game. She can carry that into the late game and still be very strong. She's great throughout the entire game, and just pressures super hard. So yeah, she's great. Great level 1 character as well with the bludgeon. Kukulcan is not in the meta right now at all. I wouldn't pick him in the solo lane. He has issues with mana. He does have really good damage, really strong control. But he's really just not the topic. Not a good support right now. Can be played in the jungle, but I literally have not seen a Kukulcan in ages. So he's not a preferred pick right now. If you were going to put him anywhere, you could still do him solo, but you don't see him very often anymore. Camazotz is going to be A+ for me. I actually I've been coming around on Camazotz. He's not my favorite jungler, but he is pretty good right now. His clear is great. The sustain is awesome. He doesn't really have to back ever unless you really need an item. He can just stay on the map and keep fighting and keep clearing and farm up. So he's really good at getting farm. That sustain helps him to continue to stay on the map and get farm, which gives him a huge advantage. I do think his ult is also great level 5 ult because if you are, let's say you're pushing someone up against a tower, you can ult them, dive the tower, and then just get out. So great level 5 ultimate. Is a pretty strong jungler right now. Chronos, still S+ in my opinion. It's tough to say that he's gone down a bit because of all the nerfs that he's received, but he's still getting picked almost every SPL game or banned or something. And when he gets picked, he usually does very well. So it's really hard to say anything bad about this god. He's very strong. Probably needs to be nerfed again. His kit is super bloated, as everyone knows. So yeah, and of course in ranks, people just spam this character, or they ban him every game. Usually people ban him. If they don't ban him, he's like the first pick. So that puts him right up in the S+ tier. Shock is fine. You see a Shock every now and then. Very good wave clear. Okay team fighting with his ultimates. Really falls off late game, but he's okay. I think it's solid. Pretty much, since Agni for me is A+, Shock is probably the point of balance. You can just think of Shock, solid A tier character. Chunga, I still think is very good. You don't see her as much anymore, but I still think she's very good in the mid lane. Jungle, not so much anymore. Of course, people were playing her in the jungle forever. That kind of fad has fallen off, but I do think she can be played in the mid lane. Her early clear is horrible, But all you need to do is survive it. If they invade you, just deal with it, survive, farm up as much as you can, try to get past that early invade, and try not to fight too much early so you don't want to die. And if you just make it through like that first 10 minutes, you can do pretty well. Um, Chiron's not very good. His clear is bad. It's like really bad. Um, the ultimate is good. They like buffed the ultimate several. This was several patches ago. Um, but he's not a carry. Like he doesn't have any part of the game that he does well with. If I had to pick, I'd say it would be his mid game. Um, but he's not built. He's not built as an early game character. He's not built as a carry. He's kind of in the between, kind of like on her in that way, but really doesn't do anything great. He does everything okay, and that hurts him. He has no strengths. Chronos is going up for me. Chronos is in the A plus tier, very strong in the mid lane right now. Um, so Chronos and Soul for a while were like considered terrible since they took away the Fatalis from their kits. But you don't need the Fatalis if you're in the mid lane. You really don't. You don't need to build them as an ADC. You can definitely play both of those characters in the mid lane and they will do very well. His level 1 clear is not good, but his level 3 clear is great. And so that goes back to my point about, level 1 clear, if you don't have it, it's okay. But if you have level 3 clear, you're pretty much doing okay. So his level 3 clear is good. And of course, because he does have those autos, he can push towers super well and shred them down. So I think he's pretty good right now. Cupid, I will put Cupid in A tier. I don't love Cupid at the moment. He saw a little bit of a period where he was getting played a lot in the SPL, kind of like near the end of the spring split. But now he's really one of the most passive hunters in the game. You kind of have to like farm up a lot, and then once you get to the mid game, you can start to like ult in those team fights and get a little bit more of of a relevance. But he really is like super safe. You just play him safely. You don't want to play him aggressive, because he doesn't have the kit for it. He doesn't have the stim. He just has the heart bomb. He has a dash, which doesn't really help him be aggressive that much. So he's not an aggressive early game hunter, but he can be okay. Erlang Shen, I think, is okay. I don't see him very often. Honestly, his soul lane is not great. In general, he has long range clear, but it's not like the best clear in the world. You can play him in the jungle as well. He's kind of one of those like in-betweeners that I don't really know where to put him. But, if you play him in the soul lane, you'll probably find in ranked pro play, you will not see this character very much. Fafnir is interesting. So Fafnir was like considered the best support. I guess he's probably still the best because his ultimate is super crazy broken. In my opinion, and probably of the opinion of many other like pro players as well. So Fafnir got like several nerfs recently. His one got nerfed. The slow on the one got nerfed. I think that might have been it, but he did like those two nerfs in like succession of each other did seem to hurt him, but that's just his early clear. Once he gets into those team fights and he gets his ultimate, he's still the same character, still super annoying. He has 2 stuns in the ult form. He also does so much damage in his ult form, like way too much. He can just one-shot combo people with just in the dragon form, so it's pretty crazy. He can absolutely carry, which is very rare as a guardian, but he can totally carry games. So probably still like the best, or maybe tied for the best guardian right now. But we'll get to some other guardians and we'll see how I feel about them. Fenrir is okay, not in the meta at all. Early clear is horrible. Level 1 clear is horrible. Level 3 clear is not great either. He's not a clear machine. He's really just there to like pressure a squishy character. So level 3 you can get the brutalize to level 2. Then you can start doing some pretty good damage, but he really doesn't do anything amazing. His ult is great in the mid game, but he does fall off late game a little bit, so you kind of have to do your stuff early to be effective with him. Freya is, I guess, A tier. She's fine. She's not in the meta, really. Magical ADCs are not super great right now, but she can be played. She is one of those hyper carries, similar to Artemis, only she's a lot better than Artemis because she actually has abilities that will... She has 2 stims, which really help her a lot. She does have the whoop, and she has the ultimate to chase people down in their towers. So can be good, very risky, but if you do it right, you'll be fine. Um, I'm not the preferred pick in my opinion though. Ganesh is pretty good. Honestly, when he came out, everyone was like, he's pretty broken. He's not broken. They did nerf his ultimate, so his objective control has gone down quite a bit. Um, he does do a lot of really great things though. So his early clear is great. His control is amazing. His team fighting is pretty good. The only thing is the ult doesn't do that much in team fights. It's kind of like a non-factor. It can be a good zoning tool, but it doesn't do that much as far as damage does. Um, but he does have the dash has a stun and a knock up, which is a lot of control. The silence is huge in team fights. This is one of the best team fighting characters in the game. The only thing is again, the objective control is not as good anymore. So he's not the best support right now, but he is very good. Probably top 5 in my opinion. But yeah, he's good. He's in a pretty good spot. Geb is going to be up there in A+, right next to Ganesh for me. Geb is great right now. Again, when we talk about, early clear, we're talking about level 3 clear. He has to get his second ability first. Doesn't do that much damage, but when you combo that with a rollout, his clear then becomes pretty good, pretty decent, you could say. And then again, once you get past that threshold of, I need to make sure I have some early clear. Once you get past that, then all of a sudden, you're getting to level 5 and your ultimate is doing a lot of control and team fights, and you have the Geb shield, which just is an insane ability. So the Geb shield is the main reason he's at A+, but the fact that he can survive the early game now makes him a lot better, in my opinion. Gwon, honestly, I think Gwon is B+. I really don't think he's that good right now. Not getting played in the solo lane whatsoever, like at all. Not getting played in support, and those are the only 2 roles he can really do. So, very, very out of the meta. His clear is okay, really not good. He gets out pressured very easily. The heal is great, but the heal doesn't warrant playing him. You really need that pressure. The ult is great for, again, some control and chasing down kills if you need to, but there's no real reason to play him, and I think he's probably one of the worst warriors at the moment, unfortunately. Hades is very good. I'm going to put Hades in A+. Very good in the mid lane. Solo lane, not so much. I don't really like Hades solo, again, because I like having the 2 tanks, 2 frontliners, warrior and a guardian. Hades is very annoying to play against. He can silence. The silence is very good, especially against characters with channeled abilities. He has a lot of control. The heal that he gets from the detonate is so annoying. He just full heals at level 1 with that ability. I don't know why, but he has great sustain and really good, pretty good team fighting as well. So he's pretty good as a mid laner, in my opinion. Hebo, I'm gonna have to put in B tier. Hebo gets caught out, very squishy, again, does so much damage, but his early clear is okay. He really needs level 3, which again, is fine, but you're not going to be pressuring, you're not going to be invading with Hebo, probably. And there's a very good likelihood that you're going to get killed early with him, because let's say they bring the soul lane over for an early gank, the Hebo's dead, he can't do anything. Hell is very bad, put her in B tier as well, with the other jabronis, or whatever you want to call them down here, the wannabes. Hell has bad clear. Her heal isn't as good as it used to be. She does very, very little damage. Really just, there's not anything good about her at all. You're not going to see her in pro play. You're not going to see her in ranked ever. And if you do, just count on her dying, because that's probably what's going to happen. Hercules up here in A+. Used to be S tier for me, but I think he's kind of gotten taken over by those auto attack like Bellona, Osiris warriors. Still very strong, very, very good. The heal is still broken. He has that stupid combo that everyone knows about. His ult does a lot of damage. He's very hard to kill, very hard to gank. Still a really good soul laner. Houyi, one of the better hunters right now. A+. I don't know if he's the best hunter, but he's definitely up there. You can play him mid right now. Let's say you do have like a solar Freya ADC, or let's say I mean maybe an Ao Kuang jungle or something. You can put Houyi in the mid lane, and he's gonna do very well there. If you can hit those ricochets, you're good. The ultimate is good zoning, good objective control. So yeah, he's getting picked quite a bit right now. Hun Batz, I'll put Hun Batz in A+, actually. I have a lot of characters in A+, right now. But Hun Batz did get a slight nerf to his ultimates. You know, people haven't been playing it as much recently, but he's still very good, in my opinion. Not the best jungler, but probably, you know, top 5, maybe 5 or 6 best jungler at the moment. Still really good control. His early clear is not good, so just think about that, but he's pretty good. Isis is, here's another A+ character for me. I have to put Isis A+ because she is absolutely in the meta right now. The clear is crazy. You match her with like a Thor, like a Susano. Anyone who has like really good Naja, they're going to be very strong, and I guarantee they're going to invade your camp. Because again, her level 1 clear is the best of probably any character. I think it is the best. So that clear is great. Her late game sucks, to put it bluntly, but it doesn't matter. She can do okay late game if you're just careful with her. Izanami, it's weird. Izanami's not getting picked. She has great clear, but she's not getting picked. Her mid to late game is okay. Her early game is where she shines, but for some reason people just don't want to play her. I honestly can't put my finger on it. I think that, you know, she can be countered. You can cancel her dash, or, you know, just really be careful in the mid to late game, but I don't know, she's not a super carry by any means. So she's kind of a tough one, to be honest, but I think she's good in A tier. So Janice. Janice is very interesting. Janice is going to be in B+ for me right now. Janice, and this is very hard for me to do, but Janice is so far out of the meta right now. He is being like crucified for just having terrible early clear, and that's just hurting him so much. In fact, his clear in general is not great. So, of course, he has the awesome utility. He has the global ultimate, which is super strong. And this is why it's hard for me to say this. You know, I love his playstyle, but the fact that he can't be aggressive early is just making him fall behind. And again, he gets stuck. Those early team fights, and I'm noticing that again, the team fights are happening a lot around the oracles, mid camps. You know, it's all like in the area of mid lane, and so when you have a character like Janice, you know, he's losing XP and gold to the tower because someone's out clearing him. He's not really getting any kind of lead, so he's always going to be behind, which puts him in a bad spot. So B+ for me, just not in the meta. Still very strong. It saddens me to do that, but I do think he's B+ at the moment. Jingwei I think is okay. Wouldn't pick her over other hunters. Her clear is not good, really not that great at like level 1 or 3. She's very safe. She has so many escapes. She has the passive, which is still very good. So can be played, but just not the top pick. Kali, I'll put in B+. Another one of those characters that, well, let's first talk about the fact that Fatalis got nerfed. And the nerf was directed towards hunters, but that also affected auto attack junglers, especially Kali and Bacchus Era. So really that Fatalis nerf is very, very hard on her. Takes longer and longer for her to get online. She takes so long to get online. Oh my god. So she has pretty good control, good survivability, but cannot get online in this meta. Khepri for me is one of the better supports. I'll put him in A tier actually. I don't think he's the best. His early clear is great. I do think that he's almost top 5 Guardians right now. Maybe not quite. I love this character, but he's not. He doesn't have that frontline presence, which I think Fafnir provides. Athena provides that. Ganesh can definitely have that frontlining presence, but Khepri cannot. He's a backlining support. So it's just not, in my opinion, I don't think it's the preferred style, but he's good. You know, the early clear is great. If you play him the right way, he can still be very good. Kukulcan is, I don't know. Kukulcan's either B+ or A for me. I'll put him in A, but I don't think he's definitely not in the meta. Like, his clear is great, which is weird because you would think that would help him, but you know, he can miss his ult. If you don't have the right comp around Kuk, he can struggle. So, of course, you can just kind of blindly throw the ult out there and maybe you'll hit someone, but it helps to have that setup, that strong setup, like a stun or, a confirm stun that you can always get with a guardian or someone else. So he's fine. Early clear is good, but does get caught out. Again, can be killed pretty easily. So Kumbhakarna, I think, is actually B+. Very bad early clear. Late game, he's very good, but he's kind of like, he's kind of like a carry, but in the support style. He doesn't, quote, carry games, but his late game is very strong with the control that he has, the mez, the root. He has so much, CC, but his early clear is just so bad. He's never going to get a lead. I guarantee you will never get a lead with Kumbhakarna. You'll always be behind. Kuzenbo is pretty bad. He's B. I really don't think he's good. They buffed him several times. The Kappa still does nothing. He's not good in the soul lane. People are like, oh, well, he's not a support, but you can play in the soul lane. No, you can't. You cannot play him in the soul lane. He sucks. His clear is terrible. What are you going to do with your dash? All you're going to do is dash the enemy away from the wave. Like, good for you. The ultimate does 0 damage. The shell spice can be easily avoided. Not only that, but if he's playing the soul lane, warriors don't really have burst damage. At least not that much. So he's useless. He has no role. Probably, again, one of the worst characters in the game. I went from when he came out, I hated him, and then they buffed him, and I was like, oh, maybe with all these buffs he'll be good. No, he's still bad. I'm back to thinking he's pretty bad. So, Loki, another B tier character for me. Loki solo does not work. His clear is not great. He's going to get bodied by like a Herc or Bellona or Osiris. They're just going to body him. Because they have those cleave attacks, they have sustain. Loki has 0 sustain. And you can just counter him super hard. And in the jungle, he's even worse. So, yeah, Loki's not great. Medusa is, I think, still pretty good. She had that period where she was like the most popular ADC for a while, but she's not quite there anymore. I'll put her A+ because her clear is very good. Her team fighting is amazing with the ultimate. She does such a great team fight. But she's not like a hyper carry. She can carry a game. She's a little bit better than Chiron in that respect, which is why she's going to be A+. But not like a super strong carry. She's kind of like a role player, good for setting up team fights, or coming in at the right time in team fights to really get all those stuns off, or at least slow them if they turn around. Mercury, Mercury's A. He's fine. He's not. The Pro League, he will get wrecked. It takes very, very long for Merc to get online. Like, really long. It's like late game before he really is fed, Like, you can get several kills with him, and it's still like, oh, I still need to get my rage up, but, I need to get all these items up. Stone Cutting Sword, I need to get all this stuff up. These expensive items. And so his build is so unique in that it's very expensive and it takes forever to get online. Because even if you build Rage 3rd, you still have to get those stacks. So, not an early game character whatsoever. His early game clear is awful. Neith. So Neith got a weird buff. I don't know why she got buffed. That was, I think, 2 patches ago, though. She got a buff to the stun on her ultimate and her backflip as well. I don't see her ever. Like, she could be A+. If someone wants to argue A+, I will absolutely concede to you that she might be A+. But for me, she's still A. I don't see her that often. Her wave clear is pretty good. The global ultimate's great, but again, not like a hyper carry at all. She doesn't have the stim, Ability hunters are just kind of... It depends. It depends on what their abilities do, and in the late game, her abilities aren't, the best. She's really more of an early game kind of character. Yeah, that's all I have to say about her. Nemesis. Nemesis is up there. Nemesis is S tier for me. I think, her early clear is not very good, but the ultimate is super strong, especially with the nerf to Sunder. She basically, her ult is Sunder. She also gets she steals those protections, which helps her be tanky in those fights. So, and especially, let's say you have an immobile support like an Emir Sylvanas, that ult is going to be just devastating for them. They are going to die so much with a Nemesis on your team. And you can build Nemesis very different ways. You can build her like auto attack focus, ability focus. You can build her a lot of ways. Very strong in the meta right now, getting picked a lot. Um, Naja, I love Naja right now. Um, he's one of my favorite junglers in general. He is skill shoddy, but his early clear is amazing. His ring bounce, his ring bounce is super strong. They buffed it. Level 1 clear is awesome. Right up there with Thor, Susano for like the best early clear. In fact, I might even prefer Naja over those characters. So if you can hit the sashes, if you can hit the ultimate, you'll be fine. Just, you'll almost certainly be able to invade if you have a Naja, like at level 1. Nike is okay. I'll put her in A tier. She can be played. One of the lower end warriors right now. Honestly, could be B plus too. Really could be, but she does have a role. She's good at baiting characters to use their abilities. That's like her main deal. She kind of jumps in there, uses her ult, baits abilities, but then doesn't have much follow up. She doesn't have, and again, her one very easily countered by many things. So that's troublesome. So her early clear can be very bad if she's always getting her one canceled. Nox is annoying, very annoying to play against. I guess I'll put her in A tier. She is, if you can hit her combo, she's good. Don't have too much to say beyond that, to be honest. Her ult, I think did get a little bit of a buff recently too. I think got like a lowered cooldown. Nua's not good. Nua's bad. I'm gonna put Nua on B. I really think she's there. Early clear's bad. Has no escape. Has one combo, which, is pretty good. Like, late game, she does great. It doesn't matter, though. And it's not like her late game is so amazing that it warrants picking her. Like, Freya, you can pick Freya, and suffer through the early game, and you're almost guaranteed she's going to hyper carry late game. Nuwa, she's not going to hyper carry. She's going to, like, push towers a little bit, and, maybe her ult's going to kill people. Like, she's just not there in the meta right now. Kind of a useless character to pick. Odin is okay, honestly not great. Is a counter pick to healers, but even then, like, just pick like an Osiris, because Osiris has the anti-heal. He can just get in your face a lot better than Odin. Odin's, got the bird bomb, which is fine, but again, a one-trick pony with the ultimate as well. So whatever. And Phantom, Phantom's really good too. And they did just buff Phantom recently, so yeah, Odin's really just kind of not great. Osiris is going to be up here in the S tier along with Bellona. Those are, in my opinion, the two best soul laners right now. The Death Toll, they did nerf Death Toll recently, but he's still good. The cleave attacks are still great with him. So he has great sustain, pressures super hard, great early clear. Late game is just a frontliner, but that's fine. You should be building Osiris super tanky. If you're building him like attack speed damage, that's really not the build anymore. You want to build him pretty tanky. You want to win lane with him, invade camps, and then once you get into team fights, just be a frontliner and go for those squishies. So he's very good right now. Poseidon's fine. He had this weird period where he was like super awesome. But again, you can focus him, you can shut him down. He doesn't have a great escape. But again, the ult is amazing. He has a really good wave clear as well. But I do think there are just a lot better picks right now. Isis is better, for sure. Chronos is better in the mid lane. I think Sol is probably better in the mid lane. There are a lot of other picks. Ra is another mage who I think is better than Poseidon. Pretty good level 1 clear. Level 3 clear is great. He begins to full clear around level 3, which is fine. If you have the CC to set up your ult, that's great too. The healing is very helpful to have. So he does a lot of good things. Not the best mage. In fact, have I even gotten to the best mage yet? That's a good question. Yeah, I'm looking at the mage pool. It's kind of really, there's no outliers at the top, which is very interesting to me. So yeah, we'll have to think about that. Oh wait, no, I take that back. There is one. I'm forgetting someone. Never mind. Raijin is next. Raijin is very bad. Horrible clear. The ult doesn't really do that much. He gets caught out pretty easily. The dash is fine. Like it's a good escape, but his Slender Crash combo does like no damage anymore. Um, yeah, just all around pretty bad character at the moment. Rom is the best hunter probably. I think he's probably deserving of S tier right now. You're still seeing him quite a bit in the dual lane. Sorry, Chronos is better. I take that back. Chronos is number 1. Rom is number 2. I do think Rom is S tier. Pretty good early clear. Late game is insane. If you don't know that, then you need to like go play some Rom because his late game is awesome. You can even fall behind a little bit with Rom and still do very good because hunter builds in general are not super expensive. So you can still be pretty good. You know, get your items online. He's gonna be good. Ratatoskr, for some reason, fell off. I still think Ratatoskr is very good right now. I'm gonna put Ratatoskr in A+. Probably like around top 5, maybe like 6 or 7 best jungler. I do have a lot of junglers up here. I have Camazotz, Naja, Hun Batz. So Ratatoskr's up there. Not the best jungler right now. Definitely not Nemesis, but he's still very good. I think that his early clear is not bad with the 3. If you level the 3 first, then you get the 2. Level 3 clear is great. He can dive with the ultimate. He has a lot of mobility. He has healing. Very strong kit in general. Raven is going to be another A+ character for me. Not quite Bellona. Osiris, he was seen in the jungle quite a bit, but since they just nerfed Sunder, that kind of pushed him way down because he lived off of that level 1, you know, you throw your 3 out, then you Sunder, and then just kind of wreck someone at level 1. That's why he was very good. Got a good lead going. Raven is absolutely a level 1 character because his... well, you can get you can definitely get the 1 first because it has a very low cooldown, does a lot of damage. You can also get the root first too. Both of those abilities are very good level 1 abilities. So it depends on like what you want. I usually get the 3 first, but I know a lot of people swear by getting the 1 first. But level 2, level 3, he is amazing. Just super high pressure, but doesn't have the again the cleave attack, so he doesn't have amazing sustain. But it's still very good. Scylla's pretty good right now. Not the best. Again, her early wave clear is okay, but her burst damage is insane. She does so much damage. The ult is great as well. Very good late game. You know, she's good. She just struggles early, that's all. Serket is probably, sorry, either S or A+. I think Serket's definitely one of the better junglers right now. I'll put her in A+. I don't think she's quite S. I think Nemesis is kind of at the top. Probably Susie too. So I guess if you had to rank them, you would probably want Susie number 1, Nemesis number 2, Serket number 3. That's probably the ordering I do. Serket's team fight is not very good, but again, her combo is insane. She just wrecks squishies, can also wreck tanks pretty well. She has some true damage, so she's pretty hard to play against, and again has pretty good early pressure as well. You don't want to box a Serket because she will just destroy you with her passive as well. So yeah, she's very good. Scotty, I guess Scotty's okay. You can play her in ranked. She'll be okay. Not going to see her in the Pro League very much, but she's fine. Has no escape, but you know her wave clear is great. The 3 is a very good level 1 ability as well. And then Calder, again, very good at taking towers as well and objectives. So yeah, she's pretty good in general. Just like not the best. Sobek, A tier. Really just okay wave clear. Like it's pretty good. It's not amazing. He in general doesn't do that much damage besides his ultimate. His ultimate does a lot. His regular abilities don't do that much. If you get a good pluck, that's great. He does have the ult is a great zoning tool. Good way to disperse fights. But in general, not the top guardian. Soul. I think Soul is actually up here with Chronos as one of the better mid laners. You can use her ADC if you want to. I prefer her in the mid lane. She has pretty good clear. Not the best clear. Like it's really just like kind of in the middle. But again, she can shred that mid lane tower, just in one run. Like all you need to do is like push, get to like 10 minutes, push one wave in there, and she can just solo that tower, which is very good. Good team fight presence with the ultimate as well. Of course, people again were upset that they took the Fatalis out, but she doesn't need it that much, especially in the mid lane. Wukong is actually in a very interesting spot right now. Wukong's going to be A+ for me. He's seeing so much play right now. I'm just shocked at how much Wukong I've been seeing. I've been seeing Wukong jungle, a lot of solo lane Wukong as well. You can't really kill him. That's his biggest thing. He has so much sustain with the ultimate. He has, that escape, the bird form just allows him to get out of any situation. He has the stun in that as well. Does okay damage, is really more of like a frontliner kind of character in the mid to late game. But his wave clear is pretty good. He can just survive in solo lane, especially against like those other characters. If you can time your stun right, you can cancel a Bellona's bludgeon. So that's good. He doesn't like out clear anyone, or he doesn't win any solo lane matchups. He just survives solo lane matchups. Which allows him to just be very safe. That's why I think people are playing him, kind of as like a small counter to those super aggressive early game warriors. Susanoo is probably going to be S+ for me. I might have said Nemesis was the best. I take that back. Susanoo is still the best jungler in my opinion. Very good wave clear. You can only proc Hydras once on his one, but that still doesn't matter. Still a lot of damage. The ultimate did get nerfed as well. Doesn't matter. Still very good ultimate, very good control ability. He's the best jungler in the game, like without question. Sylvanas is not amazing. He's fine. You can play him if you want. He gets caught out super easily. Especially again, if you're playing against a Nemesis is just gonna take you down, like you're dead. He has great wave clear, which is what you want, but he can't get out of fights. That's why Amir's pretty bad too. Amir is worse. Sylvanas, really good control. If you can play safely, you can make it, but just be careful. Those junglers are going to come after you, like it's guaranteed. Terra, on the other hand, is up here with Fafnir. I think those two are probably tied for maybe the best supports right now. I would actually prefer a Terra at the moment because of the nerfs to Fafnir. I think Terra's early clear is better. Her level 1 clear is not good, but her level 3 clear is great. The ultimate is amazing in team fights. She has so much control. She's the best initiator in the game. By far, the best initiating character in the entire game. Because you literally can just pick one target. First of all, you can root everyone with the 3 and the 1, like a huge team fight, and then you can just pick one target, stun them with your 2, and that character's dead because they're being CC'd for like 5 straight seconds. And not only that, but you have the Terra damage ticking on top of it if they're standing in the circle. She's just got so much potential to just start fights and then quickly end them, which is awesome. Thanatos is okay. I'll put him in A tier. The beginning of the season, it was like all Thanatos, every game. Thanatos was like the best character in the world. Now, not as much. Really good early pressure. You're probably going to be able to invade with him if you pick him. But again, mid to late game, he falls off, and is it really worth it? Whereas if you have, let's say, a Naja who has that early pressure, he can then take that into the late game and just continue to just snowball. Nemesis, not great early wave clear, but she can snowball super hard. If she gets some kills, if she ults the right person. Thanatos can't snowball as much, so he's fine though. You can play him. Morgan's interesting. Pretty Prime swears by the Morgan. He plays her like every game. Like literally in the SPL, that's like all he plays now, which is kind of weird. I'll put her in A. I don't think she's A+. I really think she's just fine. If you put her into the right comps, she is great. Really bad wave clear, but infinite possibilities, of course, with the ultimate. And then her stun, she does have that kind of assassin-y type of playstyle, which does work. And her stun does do a lot of damage, and especially if you kind of combo that with the Doom, passive as well, she can do a whole lot of damage. Thor is going to be up here in A+. I have a lot of characters in A+. I was not expecting this. Thor is not quite S tier for me. I think he's close, but Nemesis and Susanoo are just a step above any other junglers, and I think that's fair to leave them there and put Thor in A+. Thor is Thor. He's always, like, you know, he fell off the meta for a little bit, but he's back in there. He has great level 1 clear, awesome control. It really just spans throughout the entire game as just a solid character. So if you were a jungler, you should have him in your god pool. Even if you're not great with him, just have him in your god pool. Like, know how he works, because he's very good. Thoth. So Thoth is going to be up here in the S tier as the best mage. I was kind of like wondering, you know, who's the best mage right now? Thoth is absolutely the best mage. His level 1 clear is not great. Level 3 clear is amazing. Once he starts getting the dash, the damage on the dash plus the 1, and then once he hits like level 4 or 5, the 1 starts to like full clear, and you know, you're getting your pen boots online, so you can actually do some damage. That's when he shines. The ult is really, really strong, of course. Good objective control with the ult. There's so much about this character that is just very strong. Definitely the best pick right now. Tier is fine. He's A tier, not in the meta that much, but he's kind of a specialty pick. I think that's fair. You know, again, the A tier can be some specialty picks. I think tier is a specialty pick. If you like playing tier, you can play him. He just doesn't out pressure many people in lane. Ullr is another one I'm putting in the A tier. I think he's fine. You could play him in the mid lane if you have the right comp for it. He's an ability-based hunter, so, you know, Shifter Shield does work very well on him. You know, so that build is actually not bad. But in general, just, you know, a good character. There's nothing wrong with him, but, you know, there are other, you know, carries, especially Rom. When you have Rom who's like that super hyper carry, you know, you just want that. It's just preferred over Ullr. So we're coming up on our last characters here. I'll try to get through them pretty quickly. Vamana, I will put in the A tier. He is fine. His wave clear is actually very good with Bluestone. His level 2 clear is probably the best of any warrior in the game, maybe besides Bellona. You could probably argue Robin too, but his level 2, he full clears a level 2 without an issue. So that's good. But then, you know, once he gets into the mid to late game, he's just a role player. You know, he's not like, I mean, you can carry. In fact, I take that back. In casuals and like even ranked games, you could absolutely carry with his character. But once you get into pro play, it's more of just a role player. You know, you usually want to ult when you're low on health. You don't ult aggressively. It's kind of like a defensive ability. But yeah, he's fine. I think he's pretty good. A little underrated, but still, you know, he's fine. Vulcan, A tier, he's good too. You have to hit your abilities. If you don't hit your abilities, you're gonna suck. It's simple. If you hit your abilities, he's S tier. If you don't hit your abilities, you're in D tier. That's just how he works. Xbalanque, not good. B tier, terrible clear, gets caught out. I haven't seen a good XP in years. Like it feels like it's been that long. I literally do not see good Xbalanques. People are like, oh, Ganesh, you know, with the Ganesh passive, maybe XP will be magically good again. No, it didn't work out that way. Xbalanque is still very bad. His early game clear is awful. You're going to get out pressured. They're going to take your purple. They're going to then take your red. They're going to then take your oracles. And you're just farther behind. So, yeah, don't pick Xbalanque. He's pretty bad. Xing Chen is fine. I think I'll put him in the A tier. Can be played solo. That's pretty much it. Don't play him support. He's not a great support. Jungle, no, definitely not. He's kind of like, if you want to just throw a magical character in the solo lane, you can do it. But I wouldn't. I don't know. He's fine. Amir, I'll put in A tier because he does have that solo lane potential. He also has jungle potential. This is mainly just ranked. His support play is okay. He does get pressure. That's true, but he will get focused. If the jungler knows what they're doing, if you have a nemesis, you know, that Amir's probably going to feed quite a bit, even if you get that early pressure. So he's very risky, but can be played solo and jungle. Zeus, you're not seeing much Zeus recently at all. I think he's still okay, but we're getting to the point now where like Zeus Poseidon at one point were like the two best mages behind Thoth, of course. But we're getting to the point now where people are like, yeah, this Zeus who has like, moves around like a snail and is very easily killed. We're not gonna let him kill us anymore. We're just gonna like focus him early, make sure that if especially that like level one fighting that goes on in the mid lane, just try to poke out that Zeus as much as possible. Limit him. Try not to let him get any kills. Just play smart, and you can take care of him. It's really not that bad. And then finally, Zhang Kui. Zhang Kui for me is B+. They did give him a rekit, but it didn't matter. It really didn't matter. All those changes they made to him, I remember. Well, it was kind of a rekit. All those changes they made, like, oh, try to make him better. He's still not good. He doesn't have, I mean, his level 1 clear, you level the 3 first, right? Because it's long range. Barely does any damage at all. Then you have to, in order to get the full combo, you have to stand right next to the wave, which puts you at a huge risk because, if the jungler's there, he's just going to take you down. Don't play him solo because, again, you want that warrior, the front line. And yeah, his team fighting is okay with the ultimate, but again, Shell counters it. You can run away from it. The ult is a little bit faster now, but he's still just not quite there. So I think he's B+. Not the worst, but don't really need to pick him. And there we have it. That is the end of the tier list. Hopefully it has not been too long for you guys. If you have skipped the end of the video, welcome to the end of the video. Welcome to the completed tier list. Thank you so much for joining me. Now that I have you, please, if you want, subscribe. If you don't want to, that's fine too. If you want to like the video, go right ahead and do it. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not making many videos anymore. If you are subscribed to my channel, just note that. I'm very busy with work, and I don't really have the time to do this kind of stuff, but if I can throw a tier list in there, maybe a god guide, whenever I can, I will do it out there. So if you're watching, you subscribe, and you want to see more stuff, please leave like a comment saying like, hey, I know you're not making videos anymore, at least not many, but could you do this kind of video or something? And I will absolutely write it down and try to make it for you, because from the day one, I wanted this channel to be geared towards the people who are watching it and what they want to see. So let me know what you like, and I will absolutely make a list and try to get out the content you guys like as soon as I can. So with that being said, thank you for watching this tier list, and hope you have a great day.